Jeremy, I can assure you that Jeremy also, when he speaks about his starting points, he wasn't this nutritionist. We didn't even have any credentials, folks. We were learning. Okay.
That's right.
So again, to just put it in a nutshell, it's not about all or nothing. It's about doing something consistently. And I'll give you one example. If you're not doing anything at all in terms of exercise, get out and do 15 minutes of something. You pick it. I happen to suggest walking all the time because you can walk at any time of the day. You can be in any part of the world. You can even walk inside your house, for goodness sakes. You don't even need to be outdoors. So walking is one of the things that I highly recommend. Standing and sitting while there's a commercial break. Literally sitting and standing on your couch. Sit down, get up, sit down, get up, sit down, get up. It's like kind of like a modified squat while you have commercial breaks. Okay, this is the beginning. You may be saying, "Whoa, is that really going to make me lose weight?" How? It's the start, and it's not about all or nothing. Again, it's about doing something consistently. That 15 minutes of walking and that 15 minutes of sitting up and down on your couch or walking around your coffee table or doing jumping jacks for 15 reps at a time. Every time the clock hits dings a minute. I don't know. I'm throwing out some ideas.
Yeah.
It builds up. All of this stuff builds up. So again, my number one piece of advice for somebody starting out: do something consistently. It's not about all or nothing.
Right. No, and I completely agree with you. That as if you've been in our blabs before, that is generally Ellie and I's first response to how do I get started or what's the number one piece of advice. To add to that, just to give you another flip side of that, in one of our other blabs, and this stays true, and I know Ellie's going to back me up on this because we did an entire blab on it, the other piece of advice on getting started from the nutrition side, right? We've talked about the fitness side now. Do something. Get active, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Let's cut out the sugar in our diet. That's a big one as well as far as nutrition, cutting out the sugar. And we all know some of the obvious answers to where that sugar's coming in. Regular soda and these 600 calorie Starbucks drinks and the candy and some of this stuff that we come on, get real with yourself. That stuff is not leading you to your goals. Some of the obvious things likely are leading back to straight sugar intake. And though that I would add to what Ellie said, because I completely agree with what he said, but that again would be another side of the aspect of the number one piece of advice that we can give to somebody starting their weight loss journey. Now, for those of you on this blab, I'd like to ask a request from you. Can you hit the share button up here? There's tweet and post. Share it with your friends. We are really trying to get this out. Jana Roller, yo, what's up? How you doing? Gary, what's up? Nice to see you. Pretty blonde girl, what's up? Nice to see you. We'd love to have you bring your friends, tell your friends. Thank you, everybody that's sharing this. That's awesome. And then also, and Ellie might have said this because I came in, I think 60 seconds late, but the props on the video, this tells Blab
I actually didn't. So I was
okay.
To bring that
Good.
up. So we got little prop hands right on the lower right-hand corner of the screen. And basically it's just to give us props. Not that Jeremy and I need them.
No,
but we do. Yeah, we do. This actually tells Blab that you guys are enjoying this show and that it's significant to you and that you want to share it with other people and let them know that it's something that they want to keep on their front burner and not on their back burner. So that'll really help us keep this show alive and going. So we really appreciate that from you guys. Jerry, going back to, because we have so many questions here, and I know we have an hour, but this is going to go long, man. We have so many great questions. But about that one piece of advice also, we're talking about, walking for 15 minutes, just starting something out, reducing the sugar, like you said. That's the number one thing that we spoke about in another blab is sugar. What do we take out? Sugar. But to kind of, I want to bring this into one nutshell, okay, because we can go into details about all of these different things. I want to let people know that it's about simplifying things and not complicating them. I know you and I get questions all the time, and it's going to be some questions that we're going to address tonight. Low carb, high fat, low fat. Atkins, ketogenic, fasting, cardio,
Sure.
this cardio. Guys, it's about simplifying. You will learn with time, little by little, you will learn what works for you. There are so many schools of thought, so many. There are a ton of them, okay? And they're all right because it depends on who's using them. It depends on who's doing what and for what. We all have different goals, okay? If you're looking to lose weight and you're just starting out, there's one way that there's certain things that you should be doing. If you've already gone through a significant amount of weight loss and you're looking to build muscle and you're looking to get to the next level, that's something else you should be doing. If you've gotten to that point and you want to take it to the next level, you want to get shredded, you want to compete in a show, or you want to be ready for a triathlon or a marathon or a racquetball tournament or whatever it may be, there's something else that you should be doing and a different way that you should be dieting. But at the end of the day, it should be as simplified as possible. And the idea here is that that's what we're going to try and do for you instead of complicating things. So please, I know that a lot of you are going to be listening to different responses to things, and these are specifically answers to that question. It may not apply to you. So please don't go, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this or I should be doing that. Please, if it applies to you, for God's sakes, try it out. If it doesn't apply to you, then we're always available, not just on this blog, but through our Facebook pages, our emails. We are definitely approachable. We are reachable. Send us your questions.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to move forward is the sustainable method, regardless of what that is. That's essentially what we're saying. Next question here. For someone who is facing physical and autoimmune illness, where would you start? Autoimmune diseases are, and I'll go first, Ellie. Sorry about that. I'll go first. Autoimmune illnesses, diseases, whatever you want to call them, are wide. There's a lot of them. If you do a Google search for autoimmune diseases, you're going to find a list a mile long. I have one. I have severe psoriasis. I've had it since I was an early teenager. I've battled it decades now. And, I also have psoriatic arthritis. I have joint pain because of it. I have lots of stuff. So I know how disabilitating. I think that's a word, right? Disabilitating? Disabling?
We'll go.
I'm going to go with it. No, it's my word now. I know how it can affect you. I know how our nutrition and our diet can affect it. And so that can be a real thing. But I also know that I have worked side by side with veterans who have had limbs blown off. I've lifted with people that were missing arms. So it leads me to believe that really kind of when we put some of these excuses aside, regardless of what they are, autoimmune diseases, missing limbs, sick, whatever it may be, there's got to be this thing inside you that is like, you know what, I can do this. I can get to my goals. I will find a way. Now, the way for you, if it's with an illness or an injury, it might be different than the way it is going to be for me or the way it's going to be for Ellie. It might be different than the way it's going to be for somebody else. It might be different, but it doesn't mean there's not a way. And that's what we have to get through our head. We have to understand that where there's a will, there's a way. We're not held back. If you've got a goal, if you've got a dream, and you want to accomplish something, and I don't care if you're missing an arm, I don't care if you're missing both legs, there is a whole entire wheelchair division for bodybuilding. So if there's people that can compete at a national, worldwide level without any legs, then you certainly can do it with joint pain or a back injury or my psoriasis or your arthritis, whatever it may be.
Just one reminder, Jeremy, is very, very important. I have to throw this disclaimer in there because unfortunately we're in the great US of A. And guys, again, this is Jeremy and I's opinion. We do have credentials for personal training, if you will. I know that Jeremy is also a nutritionist, or not a nutritionist, but credentialed with some sort of nutrition experience. Please, if you have an illness, a disease, or anything at all, consult your doctor before doing anything. This is us telling you that you can once your doctor gives you the okay.
That's
Jeremy,
right. That's right.
continue, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Under no circumstances should you be listening to something you heard on the internet over what your own doctor is telling you. That I would think would go without saying, but history tells us it doesn't. So listen to your doctor. Now, assuming you have been cleared for all all activities, I'm a firm believer that sometimes we just got to put on our big boy panties and we just got to do the work. If you've got goals, find a way to get from point A to point B, even if that's different than the person next to you. And so, that's my answer to that question. Now let's jump into some of these that are piling up here before we move on to, from our list. How much water is too much? Amber Lewis. Ellie, would you like to put your thoughts on how much water is too much?
Man, Amber, you could have rephrased that. You could have said, well, how much water should I be drinking? How much water is too much? That's a good question, but there is such thing as too much water.
Yes.
I don't know of anybody that drinks too much water. I know personally I have a challenge in getting enough water in. I try to drink a gallon of water a day. It's very challenging for me. That's about the right amount that an active human adult should be consuming for detoxing their bodies. And again, you don't have to drink a gallon. It would be ideal if you're an active, healthy adult to be hydrating with 1 gallon of water per day. I know a lot of people that are major competitors in whatever sport that are extremely active that drink 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water a day. They're sweating a lot. There's a lot of salts that are being released, but there is such thing as too much water. If, for instance, you are not really active and you are drinking a lot of water, meaning you're going to be going to the bathroom over and over and over, you can get rid of a lot of your salt and a lot of your electrolytes, and that could be dangerous. Honestly, I don't know of anybody. I've never heard of a case like that personally. I've read about it online and through articles. I've never known of anybody to drink too much water. But again, if you're drinking 1 gallon of water a day, I would pretty much say that it's safe to say that you're good, and you're probably really, really good.
Yeah. The only case that I've heard of someone drinking quote unquote too much water resulted in her death. And it was a water drinking competition where she drank many, many, many gallons at one time. So I don't.
Well, I don't know what happened to Jeremy. I think that he's been having some trouble, ladies and gentlemen, down in the area that he's at. Power outages in and out.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
There you are. Yeah, we can see you now. I was just letting everybody know that you've been having power outages all day.
Yeah, I apologize. I've done everything on my end I can. I've restarted my router. I've restarted my computer. My power and internet have gone in and out all day long due to a massive storm here in Southern California. So I apologize if it happens again. I'm sorry, Ellie, to turn it on to your left.
Please, man. We're here. We're all family, and these things happen.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to water, 1 gallon a day is my recommendation for my clients as well. And that's a real happy medium. If you're working out majority of the days of the week, you're sweating, you're really working hard, gallon a day, you can't go wrong. So that's perfect.
We have another question here from, let me see. I can't figure out. It says Milkman 9208. Is that Gary Willis?
Gary Willis, yes.
Okay, because there's two things here. It says Milkman and then Gary Willis. I know that Gary is your client, right, Jeremy?
He is, yep.
Yes. So Gary says, does working out with weights or doing cardio first thing in the morning increase your weight loss or muscle gain? Take it away, Jeremy. Tell your client.
All right. Well, Gary, you're kind of hit 2 points here. I think any activity you're going to get is going to be beneficial for you. Now, there's 2 great times to do cardio, in my opinion, and that's going to be first thing in the morning, fasted, or immediately post-workout, post-lifting. Those are going to be the 2 best times to do cardio. Now, I realize that many of us have different schedules. We have different, priorities, responsibilities. And so just getting it in your day, no matter what time it is or no matter where your meals are located, that's the real secret. Just getting it done is the real secret. Now, if you have full control over it, first thing in the morning or immediately post-workout's best. Lifting weights, fantastic for several reasons. One, hormonally, it's fantastic. It's great for burning calories. It's great for building muscle, which, consistent, if you do that consistently, it's going to lead to higher metabolism, all sorts of benefits. So if I'm reading your question right, you're saying, does doing, cardio first thing in the morning and lifting weights increase weight loss or muscle gain? Yes, it all does. It all does. Get active. That's the key. And follow, I would say to you personally, follow the plan that Jeremy Reed Fitness has given to you, because that's going to be the number one thing that's going to lead you to your goals. But yeah, I mean, it is. And some people will ask questions like this, and I'm busting your balls here, Gary, but lots of people ask these questions. Well, when should I do cardio? Or when should I lift weights? Should I lift weights in the morning? Should I lift weights in the evening? Should I eat before? First of all, just get it done. First of all, get active, right? If you're currently sitting on the couch for the last 7 days and you're wondering what the best time to just get in there. Just right get in now. There. Right. Now. Like, that's first and foremost. Get it done.
Get up and start marching in place.
Right.
It's momentum forward. This reminds me of a analogy or metaphor. I'm not sure which one it is, but that someone, an elder, someone that I really highly respect, many years ago told me I was going through some challenges in my life and I felt very overwhelmed. And he said, listen, you're in a car. You got to put the car in drive, regardless of whether you're hitting the accelerator or not. If you're in neutral, the car is going nowhere. If you're in park, for sure the car is going nowhere. If you're in drive, even if you let your foot off the brake, you're going forward. It doesn't matter how slow or how fast you're going, but you're going forward. As you're going forward, that car is going to gain momentum, meaning you are going to gain momentum. So it's about starting out, whatever it is. Get started, folks. Morning time, listen, morning time is a great time to exercise. Guess what? This guy right here hates the morning. I hate it. Do I do it sometimes? Yes, I do sometimes. I feel great after. I don't like getting up in the morning, but I get it done at night. I get it done in the afternoon. Jeremy, I get it done. And that's what you're saying is, it's actually something that I learned from you, man. Get it done whenever it is. Are there ideal times? Yeah, sure there are. But the real ideal time is now. Just do it whenever you can.
Right. And a lot of people think, and this is something I'll interject here, a lot of people think that doing it at this time or doing it, all of this is going to maximize this result. I'll tell you, if you're in the place right now, which many, many, many people are, they're in this place right here where they're not really doing 100% in one direction or the other. Just getting it done, regardless of what time of day it is, regardless of how long you've eaten, regardless of any of that, that's going to produce great results. Only then, when that is no longer producing results, do you need to dive any deeper and start getting inconvenienced with, well, maybe I should be doing it at 5 a.m. when before work, or maybe I should just get it done. And here's a thought. Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern is an opportunity for you to pull up Blab on your mobile device and do cardio while watching Ellie and I on Blab talk about fitness and nutrition.
That's right.
That will guarantee you a time in your night where you're probably, all of you are on here, you're not, you're focusing on this, and you can be active, burning calories, getting your heart rate up while watching us. There's an option. There's an opportunity for you.
Man. Great idea. Yeah. You're smart. You're smart too, man. Look at that. I want to jump into the next question.
Go for it.
Purdy Blonde Girl, and she's with us on here every week. I want to thank you for your support and for you joining us and for being very active. Purdy Blonde Girl, don't know your real name. You can share it with us if you like, or you don't have to. Her question is, I'm curious about loose skin. Did anyone have surgery? I'm assuming, did anyone have surgery? You mean me or Jeremy? I will speak for myself, and then I'll let Jeremy answer for himself. I did not have any type of surgery whatsoever. I didn't have any bariatric surgery to lose weight, and I had no surgery for any type of loose skin. And here is the rest of the answer to this. I am very, very, very lucky. Okay, most people that lose a significant amount of weight. I lost 110 pounds. Most people that lose that kind of weight after carrying that type of weight for most of their lives do have loose skin. I have a little bit of loose skin. You would have to really be right next to me. If you've seen me on some of the TV shows where I'm shirtless and stuff like that, you would never be able to tell, especially when I'm at my leanest. But there is a little bit of loose skin. I am, my nationality, my ancestry, if you will, I was born in the United States, but my ancestry is Turkish and Cuban. So I think genetically I am definitely blessed. My skin bounced back very quickly, and I'm very, very lucky. Having said that, though, I can tell you, had I had loose skin, I would not have thought about it twice to get it removed surgically. There is absolutely no shame in any type of surgery to get rid of loose skin after working your butt off, okay, to get into shape and losing weight, because really the loose skin is not going to kill you. It may hurt your ego, absolutely, and it may even cause some type of medical problems like rashes and infections and things like that, but it won't kill you like obesity will. So, I have people ask me this question all of the time, and they say, but I'm just so scared to lose weight because I'm afraid of the loose skin. I'm like, you should be afraid of your obesity and not of the loose skin. The loose skin, there's a solution. You can solve it. It's expensive, but listen, and I'm going to interject here, by the way. One of the things that I am looking to do, and I'm hoping that Jeremy joins me in this, is starting a nonprofit organization where we're going to give out scholarships and help out folks that truly need to have their skin removed after a significant amount of weight loss. And it's very, very expensive. It's anywhere between $15,000 to $30,000, depending on the procedure, depending on the doctor.
The different areas of their body and all that stuff. Yeah.
So this is one of the things that, and I'm saying it out publicly so that it puts a little pressure on me to actually take the step forward. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I've spoken about it a little bit, but I haven't actually taken the steps forward. So, maybe I'm putting Jeremy here on the spot, telling him, I want you to join me, and so we can put this together. I think it's really, really important. So, so don't be afraid of loose skin. It may be something that you have to get used to as far as psychologically and stuff, but just know, and I can show you, if you reach out to me on my email, elisafarti@gmail.com, or through my Facebook page or Instagram or whatever, I will be happy to show you people that I know personally that have lost a significant amount of weight and have had skin removal surgery, and they look, man, spectacular. So there's that, Jeremy. I honestly don't even know if you've had skin removal surgery or not. So
I have not. I've actually never ever had any surgery whatsoever. I've never broken a bone. I've never I've broken bones, but never had to have surgery. Never had to have any of that. And I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with doing it. If you put in the work of changing your life in such a dramatic way, and now you have loose skin, and it's the issue. Definitely, there's nothing wrong with getting it removed, and the procedures now have gotten down to where they're very, very good. Depending on where the skin is being removed, there's little to no scars, and even those that are there are very, very minimal. I mean, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. I agree with Ellie. There'd be no questions asked. It's awesome. Now we won't, I'm not going to talk too much on like weight loss surgeries as far as bands or gastric bypasses and this kind of stuff. But I believe that in those scenarios where you're doing a surgery to help you lose weight, you really need to focus on your lifestyle. I've had many clients, many have come to me that I've taken on as clients that have had surgeries and are just as big, if not bigger, than they were when they got the surgery in the first place, because they did not change their lifestyle. And it's just it's a nightmare. It really comes down to your lifestyle. It got you there in the first place, and in many cases, no amount of surgery is going to fix it to begin with. So, really look at your lifestyle in that. Now, on the opposite spectrum, you've changed your life. You've done amazing things, and now you have loose skin. Go for it. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
No problem in my mind. And that was actually one of the questions I got on my Facebook page. This woman said she is starting. That's the key word there. She's starting her weight loss journey and knows that she's going to have some loose skin, and it scares the crap out of her. As she said, I'd rather be fat than have loose skin. And I'll tell you what, obesity should scare you way more than loose skin will. I mean, that's just the reality. The side effects and longevity terms of being obese that will end your life. Essentially, that will end your life. Loose skin won't end your life. And if you think about even in an average year, how often do people see you without clothes? I mean, what is it? 1%? Less than 1%? I mean, your spouse aside. How often are you walking out of the house?
Man, that question was wide open, man. You left it so wide open for me to just go completely off topic here, man. But
I'm saying I'm just
PG.
Absolutely. I realize I set you up for a big one though. But honestly, we're talking about the fraction of your life where you might be at a public pool or you might be at the beach or something like that. And even if you live in Southern California like I do or South Florida like Ellie does, it's still a majority of the time, Ellie, you have to admit you have a shirt on or you have pants on or you have a suit on or you have something. Even if you had a loose skin problem, the percentage of time of your life of it being public in the public eye is minuscule compared to walking around obese. That's 100% of the time. That's and so don't even think about it. If having loose skin scares you, being obese should scare you more. And so don't even worry about it. Move forward and cross those bridges when you get there. And I personally have had clients while we're together have had their skin removal surgery covered 100%. Not even a copay. It's been covered 100% under insurance because many, many doctors will say, oh yeah, absolutely. This could be a health hazard. Like Ellie said, there's infections that can happen. There's cleaning issues. There's all sorts of things. When you have skin that's folded over on other skin, it's an issue. And so many, many doctors will put that into the insurance company as an absolute must. Hey, it's a health hazard. You have to get this done. And it didn't cost them a dime. And they got, so they got the best of both worlds. So even if it costs you, even if it doesn't, either way, it's fixable. But
here we have somebody with the personal experience of having had skin removal surgery.
There you go.
Grove 1. I've had skin removal surgery, and it was the best thing I ever did with more surgeries to go. Well, congratulations, because clearly you probably lost a crap load of weight, and you are now healthy, and now you're taking care of the aesthetics of your body. And we congratulate you. Keep us up to date with the rest of your surgeries. We'd love to see pictures, man. I know I'd love to feature you on my Facebook page on Transformation Tuesday. So please reach out to me and send me your pics if you're comfortable with that and if you like that feature. Jeremy, I also want to welcome somebody that I know personally through my Facebook page. She's a great supporter of mine, and I know that she sent a bunch of questions in for her group. She actually has a group, Reese Wilson. I want to welcome you, and I'm not sure how many of your ladies are on here, but Reese has a group that she leads online, and I want to welcome them. And since I mentioned Reese, I want to ask one of her questions or address one of her questions. And let me see if I find it here. Let's see. Where's one of your questions?
Well, she wrote it in the blab.
Oh, well, here's one. That wasn't one of the original questions.
Okay.
But we'll go for this. 3 meals a day versus 5. Which is best for weight loss? This is a tricky question because the truth is that I'm going to go with 5. to answer it the least complicated as possible. That 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, is really the way that most people think that they should eat. And they're eating big meals at each of these 3 main meals. So big breakfast, big lunch, big dinner, okay? Or little breakfast, medium lunch, big dinner. Or, mix that up any which way that you want. I know personally, for myself and for people that I have worked with, things that I have studied online, in textbooks when I was becoming a personal trainer, through nutrition specialists like Jeremy and other people that I've worked with, is smaller meals spread out during the day. I don't go more than 3 hours without eating. I have to eat something. It's already, I've been doing this for years, and my body, I already know what time it is just without a watch, because my body just says, boom, I just have a particular feeling. Sometimes I even get sick if it goes past that time. My body just needs that fuel. It's ready for that fuel. So I eat about 5 or 6 times a day, depending on whether I'm training or not training. I highly recommend splitting up. It could even be those 3 meals that you're eating, that you're preparing, just split it up. Instead of having this entire breakfast, split up your breakfast and have, half of it at 7 a.m., the other half at 10 a.m., then have, half your lunch at 1 p.m., have the other half at 4 p.m., have dinner at 6 p.m., and then have maybe a protein shake or some type of, cottage cheese or what have you before you go to bed. Would you agree with that, Jeremy? Do you have something else to add to it?
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. And then on the science-based, the reason why I think that 5 or even 6 sometimes, most of the time, if you're a client of mine, you'll see that I've most likely given you 5 meals, is because what this does is when we're eating more frequently, it spreads out the caloric intake over the day. And so what we're going to see is that our amino acid level is going to be much more consistent throughout the day, which our recovery is going to greatly benefit from that. And then secondly, our insulin levels and our blood glucose levels are going to be much more stable throughout the day. So rather than having these giant spikes 3 times a day, we're going to have a little bit more even, consistent intake throughout the day, and our blood glucose and insulin response is going to be much more steady, which is going to escalate our fat loss, and then make even, once you've gotten your goal, it's going to maintain staying lean much easier as well. So there's benefits all the way around. And then if you're lean and wanting to add muscle, having the protein multiple times a day, fantastic for recovery. And so there's benefits all over the place for eating multiple times a day. And so that's my recommendation as well. Yeah.
Eating healthy multiple times a day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're not eating McDonald's 5 times a day.
A Snickers bar is not part of the plan of, eating. Although Snickers bar is not that bad, but it's not, that's not the snack. It's not going downstairs to the cafeteria at your office or what have you, and going to the snack machine and grabbing a bag of chips or something. We're talking about predominantly healthier foods, and
right.
We're not going to get into details with that because we can have an entire blab on that by itself as far as suggestions. But what we are going to do is we're going to go to the next question, which is a question that I know I've been asked quite a few times. I want to be fit, but my spouse doesn't. How do I encourage my spouse to be fit with me? So my question to who posed that question is the following. Are you doing something to be fit now, or are you waiting for your spouse to jump on this bandwagon before you take the step forward? If that's the case, then you're using your spouse as an excuse to, for whatever reason, not to do your thing.
Which is common.
Right.
Very common.
Very, very common. My suggestion is you have to set the way. You have to, Jeremy and I are both married, not to each other.
Thanks for specifying that. Thank you.
Two very beautiful and awesome women. I can tell you something. My wife was always into fitness. She got pregnant last year. We have a beautiful 5-month, almost 6-month-old baby. She is just getting back into her routine of working out very slowly. But I can tell you, it never affected me because I always did my thing. I've always set I take care of me. It has nothing to do with the fact that, we're married, but we don't have to do everything together. We have different interests. We have different goals. They could be mutual. We can be supportive of each other, but hey, if your spouse doesn't want to be fit, that's his or her business.
Right.
If you want to be fit, that's your business. So you put in the time and you put in the effort. I can guarantee you that anything positive, whether it's fitness or whatever it may be, if you set the example consistently for long enough, people will follow along. Whether it's a friend that needs to lose weight, whether it's a parent, a child, etc. I can guarantee you that the only way that you can get somebody to do something is simply by showing them what you're doing.
Right.
They may not, but the idea is that you have to set the tone. So especially with a spouse, just speak to your spouse and say, listen, I understand you don't want to be fit, that this is not your thing. I respect that. I ask you to just be supportive of my goals.
And most of the times from what I've seen, because I've worked with many people whose the comment was the same. Their spouse is not into it. In many scenarios, once the spouse, and it really hasn't mattered whether it's a woman or a man, once they start seeing real, true results. So it's not like, hey, honey, I lost another 3 pounds, but it's like the other spouse going, oh, wow, like it's working. I've been making fun of her or him, eating healthy and packing their lunches and all this stuff, but it's truly like in the flesh.
I'll also mention something else that, a lot of times it's that what you mentioned, Jeremy, where they say, oh, wow, this is actually working. I'm going to jump on that bandwagon with them. Many times it could backfire. And again, we're not marriage counselors here, but these are experiences that we've had with people that we've worked with, is that the spouse may feel threatened, if you will, and try to sabotage that other person's success or efforts. Again, the way to work this out is saying, please just respect what I'm trying to do. I'm not going to push it on you. I will make you, eggs and bacon every morning. I'm going to have my oatmeal. I'm not going to push my oatmeal on you. You'll have your eggs and bacon done every morning, okay? But I'm going to have my oatmeal. Don't make me eat eggs and bacon. Don't make fun of me for that. I won't make fun of you for your heart attack on a plate, and things like that. Again, you go out to dinner. They can have, order appetizers, eat the bread, whatever it may be. It's not going to be simple. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot harder when you have a spouse that is not on the same page as you, but it's definitely nowhere near impossible. And when you stand your ground, right, I can guarantee you, especially at the beginning, people don't believe us. So, yeah. Okay, sure. You're going to do that. Oh, yeah, you're on a diet. Sure. But once you have set the tone for a consistent and a longer period of time, people start going, she's serious, and people will start saying, oh, I know you eat healthy, so can you go to this restaurant? They'll start making concessions for you. I've seen it over and over and over with people that I've worked with, spouses, parents, children, that made fun of their significant other for doing this or doing that. And then, months down the line, a year down the line, they're like, hey, I want to join you in what you're doing. Yeah. So just keep forward and stand your ground.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at with majority of the time when they start to see real, true results. A lot of them, rather than getting in your way or tempting you or making fun, a lot of them are going to join in. And really, when it comes down to us, our own results are probably the best motivation that we can get. And it's also a great motivation to other people as well. And so the people, even your own spouses, your own family members that were, you might say sabotaging because they're like, oh, come on, pizza, cake, beer, whatever, sabotaging you at one point, will be jumping on your bandwagon because of your good examples and the results that you're showing. And so just stay true to yourself. And then also when it gets tough, remind yourself why you're doing this. You should not be doing this for your spouse. You should be doing it for yourself. And so regardless of what your spouse or whatever, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the scenario may be, remind yourself, get back to square one. You're doing this for yourself. You're doing this for your future, your life, your health, your self-esteem, your body image, your love. And that kind of gets us back to square one. And trust me, a lot of times they're either going to join you or, just keep doing your thing. And it's for you in the end anyway. Here's another one that I commonly get. What is your opinion on eating low carb? What is your recommendation to clients? Low carb has been a craze for a long, long time. We've all heard of Atkins. Many of us have tried it. Many of us have failed and rebounded from it. In my opinion, yeah, me too. In my opinion, carbohydrates are needed. They're an excellent fuel source, and they're fantastic. But at the same time, we need to look at them for what they are, a fuel source, and use them as a fuel source. In today's day and age, when you look at all of the food and the temptations and everything we have available to us, we are inundated with fuel sources. We're inundated with carbohydrates, and not the good carbohydrates that run our body very efficiently. We are inundated with the carbohydrates that are very, very fast and lead to massive, massive fat gain. And that's why it's really no surprise that worldwide we are getting fatter as a world. We are having more health issues as a world, especially in North America. And so we need to look at it from what it is. Now, do I think that no carb, Atkins low carb is the only way? No. I've only had a handful of clients on a ultra low carb, a no carb diet. For the most part, I do think carbohydrates are necessary in our diet and needed for long-term success. But it's when, it's essentially the quality and the quantity of those carbs that are going to dictate our success long-term. Ellie, what's your opinion?
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think that all food sources are important. We're talking about protein, carbohydrates, fats, healthy fats. Those are the three main food sources, if you will. And I think it all has to do with what your particular goals are. I have been on low carb diets. I cycle my carbs sometimes. Again, it all depends on what it is that my fitness goal for that moment is. So when I was training for, running a marathon, 26.2 miles, and I was running, 30 plus miles per week, you better believe I'm eating carbs, because there is no way that I could run, that many miles per week, especially, a long run on a Saturday or Sunday for 13, 16, 18, 20 miles without eating carbs. It's just, I don't know too many people. My running coach is the only one that I know that is just an anomaly, but he's a weirdo. He really is. He's a freaking anomaly, but you need carbs. Again, if you can afford to hire someone like Mr. Jeremy Reed, I highly suggest, reaching out, whether it's, and this is not plugging Jeremy. I love him. I think the guy's great. And I think that honestly, he could do a great job for anyone. But to be fair, if it's not Jeremy, reach out to somebody that is as educated at this as this guy is, somebody with real credentials, somebody that really cares. If you're really, really serious about getting something done as far as nutrition is. If you go on the internet, there's a lot of stuff that you can learn. You can get bogged down. One of the things I said earlier on the blab was there's a lot of schools of thought, and they're all right for the most part. Okay. But the idea here is to grab onto one, follow it through for a certain amount of time and see how it works for you. And what I mean by a certain amount of time, at least 12 weeks of doing something really consistently. Even if it's the Atkins diet, for God's sakes.
Right. No, yeah.
See if it works for you. If it works for you, not in the sense of, will you lose weight? Yeah, you'll lose weight and but is it sustainable for you? If it's not, then move on to the next thing and take that for another, 12 weeks and see if that works for you. But for goodness sakes, don't jump from 1 week to the next, to the next, to the next. Oh, I read this book, and so I'm going to do this week. And then I read, this article, and I'm going to do this week. You'll never, ever succeed at anything as far as fitness and health is. And you'll be very frustrated. So grab one thing, find somebody like Mr. Jeremy Reed, and, to guide you and follow that school of thought, again, blindly if you have to, for 12 weeks and see how it works. If it doesn't, hey, Jeremy, thanks a lot. You're not the guy for me. You move on to the next school of thought and try that for 12 weeks. You'll eventually find your place in exercising and nutrition. That I can promise you.
And I can promise you, based on my success rate, that it's going to work great if you follow what I'm telling you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Looks like Pretty Blonde Girl had some chicken ate by her dog while she typed that. That always sucks. I'm sorry we're laughing. I'm sorry.
That's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
You come to type a question, your dog eats your entire food prep. That just is a bummer. Here's another question. What supplements do you recommend for best results? that's a tough one. I'm not a big supplement pusher. If you're one of my clients, you know that I'm not one of these guys that's like, well, you got to take this and this and this and this and this. There are a handful that I do recommend based on what we're doing. And I do want to remind you, Ellie, it's 5:50. We've been on this. We've got 10 minutes left, so we got to bust through these. I will make it quick. I'm not a supplement pusher. I do think there's a few that may make decent results. And here, this will answer another question of Drizzled Legacy. A multivitamin is a must. I do. I feel like a lot of us do not eat nearly enough to satisfy our vitamin and mineral needs. And even if we're getting 100%, if we're exercising regularly, it's not covering 100% of what we need nowadays, where we're exposed to many more environmental issues. And so I think taking a multivitamin and multi-mineral is fantastic. Take it with breakfast. And then other supplements that I recommend, if we're working out, hard 4 or 5 days a week, whatever it is, a pre-workout is a decent idea because it does enhance blood flow. Enhanced blood flow increases recovery. That's always a good thing. So a pre-workout, not 100% needed, but would give you benefit. And a good protein powder. I mean, for me, protein powders have been great for curbing sweet tooth issues. I mean, I have a protein shake a day, and it's my sweet thing of the day. I don't crave cookies. I don't crave cake. I'm not digging into ice cream. For me, it is that time of day where I enjoy something sweet. I have different flavors of protein powder. I use it in some sort of recipes sometimes, but it's a good one. And so it's a good way to get protein in as well. So protein powder, pre-workout, multivitamin, you're good to go. All these other products out there, I'm telling you, spend your money on better food. If you have that money to spend it on the grass-fed, organic, free range, all that stuff, and you'll be good to go. So
again, it's about trying things out. If you learned about a particular supplement, don't go into your vitamin shop, store, GNC or whatever it may be, and say, buy. You can literally drown yourself in supplements. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yep.
Okay? There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of junk out there, meaning it might as well just be air. Okay. But if you think that you see something and you hear about something, try that one thing. Try it out for 30 days, 45 days. See if you see a difference. If not, then hey, you know what? You spent your money for 30, 45 days, move on to the next thing or what have you. Again, it's about trying things out, but not getting bogged down on every little thing that we hear. Question here before we wrap things up. Pablo Ernesto Ducey. I don't know if Pablo Ernesto, si hablas español, bienvenido. Hey, I impressed you with my Spanish, huh?
You're very impressed.
Right, all right. So Pablo Ernesto Ducey says, I have time periods when I exercise myself and I am able to get fit, but then progressively I forget it for some X reason. Let's say I'm working very much, etc., and I give up. How do I maintain the consistency? It's a great question, man. Consistency. How do you maintain it? You got to do something every day. I don't know if you were on earlier or if you just popped on now, but the first question I responded to was about things not being all or nothing. We're all busy. We all have, we may have families, we may have, extremely busy careers. We may have both and be extremely, extremely busy. But I can tell you that we don't make excuses for our families and we don't make excuses for our careers. If we have to be at work, whether it's our own business or whether we work for somebody, we're there because there's consequences if we don't show up. And our families, whether they're children, whether they're parents, whether it's a spouse, even if you're a pet owner, for God's sakes, you don't just say, I'm not going to feed my pet today because I don't have time.
Fend for yourself.
Right, exactly.
Not going to happen.
The same thing is we have to make those type of commitments to ourselves when it comes to fitness. And I use the word fitness loosely. You don't have to be an athlete and you don't have to be a gym rat. I'm just saying you do have to move your body and you have to, make better nutrition choices every day as you go along. So, Pablo, what I suggest is that you have your plan A, which is when you have all the time and that you're getting fit and you're going to the gym or whatever it is that you do, that's your plan A. then have a plan B for those times that you just don't have time. You can carve out 20 minutes a day. There's 24 hours in the day. I promise you, I know you can carve out 20 minutes a day. That's your plan B, 20 minutes. Where you carve it out, that's up to you. I don't know your schedule. That's your plan B. And even have a plan C, okay? Plan C is saying, okay, if I can't do it every day this week because I'm traveling or I'm this or I'm that, figure out something that you can do every other day. That's the way to stay consistent. But if you go in, all in for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I have these deadlines and I have these things, and then you're out for 3 weeks, that's tough to get right back on. A couple of days that you miss here or there, absolutely. Life is like that. But consistency is about having a plan A, having a plan B, and even having a plan C. So I hope that answered your question. We are running out of time. Yep. I think we have some time to answer a few more, at least one more question, Jeremy, if you want to pick the question.
Sure. Let's get through some of these here. Monty Henry at Monty Henry 1 is asking about fasting and fitness and health. Even went as far to post a URL. You're going to hear different answers from everybody. So again, this is just my opinion. I'm not even speaking for Ellie on this one. Fasting, in my opinion, is ridiculous. We need to find something that's sustainable. And there are plenty of unbelievable world-class physiques that were built out there that don't involve fasting whatsoever. So why in the world would you do something that makes it so that you can't eat or shouldn't eat or whatever for large portions of your day? It's miserable on you. You're going to find that you have energy issues for the most part. I know there's a lot of people out there doing it, but at the same time, it, in my opinion, has led to a lot more eating issues. Then after you've been fasting for 12 hours or 16 hours or 18 hours, you're attacking the food in a very, very unhealthy way when you should have just been eating all along. It's been proven to get you to results, let alone the issues with, amino acid levels and all this stuff. I'm not a big fan. I think it leads to more harm than good, especially if you've already had a pre-existing weight issue, if you've had trouble losing weight, or you've had weight to lose pre-existing, and then you start going into situations where you're chastising yourself because you can't eat for 16 hours a day. That's not for me. It's not for me or any of my clients. that's I'll say that right now. And so I really think
I lost you at not eating.
Exactly. I mean, food is way too important to us. And from anything that I've read, and I've read huge studies on it, the benefits of it are not worth the process to do it. Why would you fast when you can eat and get to the same results? I have clients all over the world getting unbelievable results that have far surpassed other trainers that are putting their clients and starving them for 16 hours a day. Why in the world would you starve yourself if I can get you there while eating food? So, I don't see the benefits, and I think it leads to an unhealthy relationship with food. So we'll move on. What's the best way to maintain motivation in a fitness journey? Having goals, in my opinion. Ellie, you can interject in whenever you want, but I think that having goals is a great way to maintain motivation, because if you have your mind centered on a point B, then you're planning out how to get there from point A. If you're just like, well, I want to lose weight. Okay. That like 90% of the entire world population wants to lose weight. But what's your goals to get there? What's your goal to get the first pound or 5 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever? Like, have a goal, set some specific goals for yourself and map out a plan to get there. And then it's not.
The goals are really not the weight that you're going to lose, because that really is, honestly, is almost impossible to pinpoint. You can't say, my goal is to lose 10 pounds by next month. You know what? You may lose it. You may not lose it. You don't know. Your body reacts. But what you can set a goal for is saying, I am going to do X amount of exercise per day for the next week. Okay. And I like to break it down by week. If you want to do it for the next couple of weeks or what have you, I particularly believe if we can't get through 1 week, we can't get through 2 weeks. So, I also suggest, like, for instance, if you're already going to the gym and you already have a fitness plan, say, hey, my goal is to bench press 10 more pounds of my max, or to run, 30 seconds faster than I did my marathon or my 5K or whatever it may be. I'm just throwing out here examples, but definitely having that type of plan, having really a goal. You have a goal, then you have a plan to get to that goal. For me, for a very long time, it was running, and it was preparing for a race. That race was my goal. So that training, I wasn't just running because I was running. I had a reason for my running. Therefore, my running had a meaning to me. It wasn't just about running and losing weight. There was a meaning behind it, meaning I was getting prepared to get to there. Jeremy, I know that you've competed in bodybuilding. I know that is something that you can definitely relate to, is working out towards a competition.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And working out to a competition is a little bit more unrealistic than some of the other goals out there. But, it's I think setting your goals and shooting towards that and setting your mind and all this stuff, it keeps you in it. That's another thing too, is it keeps you in it and it keeps you active. And I think it was his name Pablo?
Yes.
Yeah, Pablo, that was another thing of like, hey, I've planned it in, but I keep forgetting, or I get busy or whatever the thing. Again, I think setting goals is a big part of that. When you're shooting for a very specific goal, you tend not to forget, and you tend to make it a priority, and you tend to work it into your life. And so we've got another one here, and I'm moving quickly.
Jeremy, I'm going to have to cut you off because we are way out of time. And speaking of goals, one of our goals is to keep this exactly, for these folks that come on here, and I'm sure a lot of people just pull out this hour for us. And I hate to cut you off, but we have run out of time. And speaking of goals, next week we have an amazing show for you. We have a special guest that is going to come and join us. Jeremy and I are going to interview her. She has lost close to 200 pounds, is a bodybuilding competitor. She is absolutely gorgeous inside and out, and she is going to talk to us about how she did it. You're going to be able to ask her if she had skin removal surgery, if she had bariatric surgery, all of these different things. She's going to be here with us next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Yeah. Transforming with Jeremy and Ellie. I want to thank everybody that joined us tonight, and we look forward for you to join us next week. Please invite your friends and your family and let people know about Transforming with Jeremy and Ellie. Again, thank you again. I sign out from South Florida. Jeremy?
I'm signing out from Southern California. Yeah, again, I thank you, everybody. Next week's show is going to be phenomenal. We're really transitioning over to getting you other areas, other angles, other people that have done amazing things. We're working hard at bringing you guests that have something special to share with you, and next week is going to be one of those weeks. So make sure to mark your calendars, subscribe to our YouTube, our Facebook, YouTube as well, but Facebook channels, Twitter, all this stuff. Follow us online, and you will not miss one of these because we're going to post everywhere about it. Thank you all for being here. Have a fantastic Sunday night, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week, everybody. Thanks again. Bye.